Good morning, everyone. It's me, Rory Paddock, for pictureandthepaddock.co.uk. It's been an absolute age since we've done an On the Nod live, but it's Friday, it's the 3rd of November, and I've got 7 horses I'm going to be putting in an each way Super Heinz from Newmarket, Newcastle, and over in Ireland at Dundalk as well. Now, before I get stuck into my 7 selections, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, because there's a couple of horses I want to give an honourable mention to. And one of them runs in about 30 minutes. It's in the 12:15 at Newmarket over at Flat HQ. And it's Sarah Dawn, SERA space Dawn, DAWN. Now, it's a really competitive race. It competed and won a Class 2 event earlier in the year. It was a novice race, but I think that's pretty strong form. It's been really consistent throughout the year since then without actually winning. Really off a decent mark. George Bass, the jockey, takes another £3 off the horse's back. And I think it's weighted to go close, just so long as being drawn in stall 1 doesn't prove to be a negative. Sarah Dawn there in the 12:15, a horse that certainly deserves an honourable mention for trainer Jack Shannon. And way later on this evening, the 7:30 at Dundalk, I was actually going to give a tip in this race, but there's just 2 horses I can't split at each way purposes. Sarah Dawn is an each way earlier at Newmarket, but here 2 that I think could go well at big prices in the 7:30. Got Harbonacker and Well Suited, both course and distance winners. Have had really muddling seasons with mixed degrees of success. Have been nearer last than first, in all honesty, but they're off such attractive marks, and because they're previous course and distance winners, I think they could potentially spring a shock and do much better than their odds suggest. So Sarah Dawn in about half an hour at Newmarket, and then at Dundalk in the 7:30, Harbonacker and Well Suited, if you're looking for each way plays there. Those are those ones, but you've come for my best 7, so here they are without further ado. Where are we going to go first? Well, we're going to go to the northeast. We're going to go to Newcastle. It's the 3:05, and I'm going to go with Mondamege. Now, Mondamege, it hasn't been anywhere near its best this season. It's not been anywhere near the winners' enclosure in 2023, but it now drops into this grade for the first time in over 2 years. I think that's going to be telling. The horses competed in top-class group races and really high-level handicaps. So I think this drop in grade is going to be more to its liking. Back on the all-weather, I think that's a massive boost as well. 9 top 3 finishes from 14 starts on an artificial surface. Weighted to go close. So hopefully he can turn his form around and go well at 11-1. I think that's a decent price there for Mondamege. At Newcastle, in the next race at Newcastle, the 3:40, another former course and distance winner. A course and distance winner here in Starshield. Now, despite the fact that the horse finished 6th most recently, he was actually less than 2 lengths behind the winner that day. So the 6th on the form book actually is a bit misleading. Didn't have the best in terms of luck of running. He finished behind Irish Flame, who reopposes today, but now off level weights. I think the form of that duo, I think they can reverse that form, and Starshield finish closer than Irish Flame. I wouldn't discount Irish Flame. Certainly has a decent each way chance, but Starshield for me, way below his last winning mark. If the 8-year-old has anything left in his legs, I think he's capable of adding to his course and distance success here in the 3:40 at Newcastle. We then go to Flat HQ just 5 minutes later, the 3:45, and Forward Flight is my idea of an each way punt there. Despite it only being a small margin win last time out, I think Forward Flight won well at Yarmouth last time. A £2 rise isn't a drastic negative by the handicapper hasn't crippled it too much. And I just think conditions to suit, loves the softer ground, won recently. I just think it shouldn't be far away. It's a similar sort of race. A £2 rise isn't much. I think, again, another each-way chance there for Forward Flight in the 3:45. We'll then go back up to the tune in the 5:15 at Newcastle. I want to go with Ruth Carr's New York State of Mind. Now, the last time he was seen here at Newcastle, he produced a very respectable third with less weight to carry this time around. Or was it fourth? It was either third or fourth. I can't remember off the top of my head. Got much less weight to carry this time around. And off the back of I stand corrected. Finished third the last time it was here at Newcastle. It finished fourth in one of its most recent runs. 2 solid efforts in his last 2 starts. I think more can be expected. Also, I think it's worth noting that usual jockey James Sullivan isn't riding Ruth Carr's charge. And in fact, it's going to be the very capable Joanna Mason that gets the leg up. New York State of Mind has attracted market support as well. Currently around 6-1. I think is an each-way bet there. We're done with Newcastle. We're done with Newmarket. It's all about Dundalk for the next 3 selections. First of which comes 15 minutes later in the 5:30. And it's Suit Yourself Boss. All one word. Now, it might still have his maiden tag, but it returned to action from nearly a year on the sidelines. I think it was something like 335 days since its previous run to when it run last time out. And despite that, it put in a really decent effort. It finished a very close 5th that day. I think it's going to improve markedly for fitness after having that recent run. That came over course and distance well. He's been dropped a generous £6 despite finishing relatively close last time out. And I think what's also worth noting is that top-class jockey Shamie Heffernan is happy to jump aboard this maiden. And I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, that tonight could be the night that it finally shakes off his maiden tag and enters the winner's enclosure for the first time. Suit Yourself Boss, currently around 10-1. Then in the next race, the 6 o'clock, I'm going to go with the course and distance winner. We've got Dream Today. Now, despite the fact that he's the oldest horse in the race, it'd be really foolish to rule him out. In his 2 previous course and distance victories, he ran off marks of 86 and 92. Now running off 83. He's got weight on his side. The very talented young apprentice rider, Cian McRedmond, takes further weight off his back. I think he's got a £5 claim, which I think is very generous. I think with his hold-up tactics, he shouldn't be too inconvenienced by his draw. Now, the only downside is he relies heavily on being able to get a decent break or a decent passage through. If he gets that break, if he gets a clear run, I think Dream Today, 13-2, is a very generous price for that runner. It's Adrian McGuinness's horse there in the 6 o'clock. And finally, an hour later in the 7 o'clock, I'm going to go with Pierre Lapin. Now, at much bigger odds in this race, I think Higher Kingdom may do a lot better than the bookies might suggest, but I am going to go for Pierre Lapin. The horse's fate was already sealed after a really poor start here last time out. Saying that, though, he still managed to finish 4th and finish really credibly. He's got a lower draw, which I think is going to help. He's not going to have to tackle a bigger bend, as he wasn't drawn out as wide as he was last time out. And if he can get a better start, I think he's primed for a big run. Pierre Lapin has been knocking on the door, and hopefully tonight is the night. There, I can't expect 10-1 being on offer for long, so if you want to back that horse, jump on now. So my 7 selections, we've got Mondam Edge, Star Shield, and New York State of Mind, all at Newcastle. Forward Flight at Newmarket, and Suit Yourself Boss, Dream Today, and Pierre Lapin, all each-way selections. I'm going to be putting them in an each-way Super Heinz. I did obviously give honourable mentions to 3 horses that are running later on the card at Dundalk, and 1 literally in about less than half an hour at Newmarket, which I think could go well. But those are my 7. As always, any likes, comments and shares, very much welcome. Remember, fingers crossed, touch wood, and good luck if you follow.